Hey YouTube, Maestro here from Bendu Lightsaber Combat. Today we're continuing our fundamental formulas discussion, our history of the forms in Bendu Lightsaber Combat, with the fourth form, Ataru. Now this is arguably one of the more popular forms in the community today. A lot of people love Ataru. They love talking about it. A lot of the favorite characters in Star Wars using Ataru. Master Yoda, it's the form of Yoda, and Qui-Gon Jinn. Even Luke Skywalker used Ataru a little bit. Had some training in that. But the system of Ataru in Bendu Lightsaber Combat is guided completely by what we call our fundamental formula. This is a step-by-step process that guides every Ataru practitioner. It's what makes Ataru Ataru. Of course, we don't have, the ability to superhumanly charge ourselves to flip 10 meters through the air and fight upside down in the air like Yoda, spinning like a whirling dervish. We don't have that ability to make that, realistically possible. But that's not really what makes Ataru Ataru. I mean, can't anybody spin? Can't anybody rotate their blade to attack? Can't anybody do that? Can't anybody commit fully to aggression? They can, in other forms, they can. But what makes Ataru Ataru is really its fundamental formula. So what we're going to talk about first is the word Ataru. Ataru is a word which translates into flow. Ataru is flow. It's anything flowing. It's the clear, free, uninhibited flow of energy. So it's that rushing river, that electric current, that wind that never stops. Ataru is flow. Okay, so this is the fundamental formula for Ataru. Like all the other fundamental formulas, think of it as a recipe for making your dinner. If you want to eat Ataru for dinner, this is the recipe you want to follow, because this is what makes Ataru actions work, is following this formula. This is what makes the principles that guide it function well and cohesively for you in a duel. So the first part is the most important. It's how you begin. In Ataru, you want to seize the advantage in initiative. So what that means is, if an Ataru fighter is fighting anybody else, he's absolutely going to be the one to bring it first. He's going to leap right in. He's going to go in there with his attacks, with whatever it takes. He's going to gain that initiative. He's going to take early control of the fight by being highly aggressive, jumping in and attacking, fully committing to his offense. That's Ataru. Highly offensive, highly committed actions. But at the same time, what if you waste that initiative? What if you leap forward only to have your blow blocked? Highly probable, highly possible. Even the best of us, we get blocked. It's going to happen. The way that Ataru deals with those problems that get in its way, remember, Ataru is all about uninterrupted flow. The way that Ataru deals with those problems is it maintains its initiative with dynamic aggression. That's where the traditional flips and rolls and ducks and jumps and whirling of the blade come into play in Ataru. It isn't to be flashy, it isn't to be big, it isn't for any other reason than we want to maintain that initiative. So as I attack and that opponent blocks me, I'm going to reverse directions. I'm going to sumo rotation, boom, into my next attack immediately. Ataru is highly aggressive, but it uses light cuts. It uses its high commitment of the self to the attack, but not to any one attack. I'm not trying to overpower my opponent. I want to overwhelm the opponent. That's the strategy behind Ataru. It's not one unblockable, incredible, powerful blow. It's 1,000 tiny cuts before the opponent can react, in all different angles that he's not trained to expect. You move, the Ataruist moves his body in ways that fuel that dynamic aggression. Very dynamic, very acrobatic, but still within the realm of human possibility. That's how he maintains that initiative. Now, even with that dynamic aggression, an Ataruist might run up against something where he's forced to stop. This is bad for an Ataruist. He never wants to get caught standing still because his focus is entirely on that aggression. He uses his aggression even as his defense. And if that aggression is broken or stopped or stymied, what can he do? He needs to disengage from any interruption to his flow. So as he's going in and he's making these different dynamic attacks on all these different levels, if he encounters some sort of major interruption that stops his flow, he's going to use that dynamic flow to disengage completely from the action, thereby maintaining the initiative that's his advantage in the first place. And then he can, because he has control of the initiative, choose when to re-engage. And that's the fundamental formula that underlies everything that we do in Ataru. Ataru is a system that's not based on how you're flashily twirling your blade around. That's not Ataru. That's just flashily twirling your blade around. A Makashiist can flashily twirl his blade around, you know. But what makes Ataru Ataru is that the way that you're going about fighting, how you're doing what you're doing, why you're using those flashy maneuvers, why you're ducking and diving and rolling and jumping and doing all these highly acrobatic and athletic things. That's what makes Ataru Ataru.